There's going to be no tags on this video, and as the title suggests, it's a very nostalgic journey for me. I'm going back a long time, because I'm coming up to 61 in April, and I'm going back 55 years, and I used to spend most of my summers in this area, and we used to come down here camping, and we didn't have a lot of money, but we used to enjoy it every weekend. And the object of visiting this now is to scatter my dad's ashes in the same place where my mum's are, but also to make this a little bit nostalgic. It's bringing back a flood of memories to me, which I felt would be interesting to possibly share with other people. Anyway, if you're interested in continuing watching, I'll try and convey some of the fun that I had when I was a kid and how much possibly the areas have changed. This area is where the canoeists actually train, so you can see one there who's having a bit of fun, and the river's not in very good flood at the moment, so he's not really doing too much. But there you go. My dad found a canoe here and we took it back to the Thames Conservancy, which was in this building here, and they said, oh yeah, if it's not claimed after a certain amount of time it becomes yours, and we got all excited. Not that we had any idea where we could keep it, but we didn't get it. This is the local rowing club at Weybridge, and this is where I'm actually heading, where we used to go camping, and it's along the Desborough Channel. Now originally we used to go camping up by Walton Bridge, but unfortunately the council passed a law, and the coppers came round one day and said, look, I'm sorry, but you can't camp here, you've got to move on. So my mum and dad said, well, do you know anywhere, because we've got a young child here, where we could camp? And they said, yeah, go up a little bit further and you've got the Desborough Channel there. He said, go across the bridge there and there's an island there and you'll be able to camp there. And that's what we found. So it's called Desborough Island in actual fact, and it's where the waterworks were at one time. The whole island was owned by that, but it became a totally new area for me, an area of adventure, and it's unbelievable, and that's where I'm going back to now, so bear with me. This is the little road that we used to use, and don't forget when we used to come up here, first of all it was on a tandem with me attached to it in a sidecar, and I'd be seeing this now and I'd be getting all excited. So I must have been, I would say, around about 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old when we started to come up here. And this was a different world then. It's quite overgrown now, but it was the same almost, except they used to get the old cows over here. This was actively farmed, which of course it isn't now. Now by this time I was really copping it, because this is where we camped. Every weekend that we could, we were here. And where these cars are parked here, that's where we used to unload, and we used to have to take the gear down this steep embankment here, just about see it behind the fence. And we used to take it down there because obviously we used to have to camp down there. When we got it unloaded enough, we used to take the bike down. Well, lots of memories for me here. There really are. And we couldn't leave the bike up here either, because obviously it could get nicked. So my dad used to have to uncouple the sidecar, and my mum and dad would carry it down there, and it would be safe. So that's what he used to have to do. It was a hard slog getting here, especially when the A3, the dual carriageway, was built, because it was an exceptionally difficult road to accommodate on a tandem with a pusher with a sidecar attached to it. So you can appreciate it was really hard. Something else that's gone as well is from the other side over there, which I'll show you. It's just behind me over there. There used to be a boating house here, and I'm just going to go and see, because I bet you all the foundations are there. That's about all that you'll find. The other thing that was there as well was a place where you could actually undress, would you believe, and go bathing. Times long since gone. Look, here's some parakeets. This used to be where the bathing huts used to be. And you can see, look, what a beautiful view of the river that is. You see that house up there. You go down the path. This is where the bathing huts used to be, and the poplar trees are still here, as massive as ever. But now they seem to have parakeets around them. But this was where the bathing huts used to be, somewhere along here. I wonder if the foundations are still there. And over the other side there used to be a sandbank that we used to swim over to. And the sand was always warm because it was so shallow and it was quite dark. Oh dear. Well, where are the foundations now? After very, very heavy rain here, one thing you used to get, on the point here, you used to get tremendous swirling currents. As you can see, this has been, by the look of it, ripped out by high water levels. But this is where the two channels divide. So you've got the Desborough Channel, which is up here. Can't see the bridge, it's all overgrown now. And then on the other side you've got the main Thames. That's the long way round. This island over here has always been occupied by boats. Must cost a fortune. I think it's Eote Island, I think it is. And down there is the weir, which is towards Weybridge. I used to actually swim underneath this bridge. And now we've got parakeets. Can you see them just at the top of that pole? You certainly hear them. There must be a hole in the top of that pole. If you can see them at all. Hope you can, there's a pair of them. It's hard to think this used to be all cropped grass. And just over there is, just below the bridge there, you just see the edge of the bridge there, I think, through the trees. That's where we camped, and we got fireworks fired on a tent. My dad chased after the kids who had done it. But this was all short grass, not overgrown like it is now. And that there is where I learned to swim. So here we are, this little bay here, which is still here after all this time. And we're talking about 55 bloody years, for Christ's sake. Had a few floods here, but as you can see, you've got a bit of sand. And this is the Desborough Channel. This was a cutting that was put through to make it quicker. We used to get boats coming up here all the time. That's it. And the bridge is just over there. You can just about see it, I think, through the trees. And this is the little bay that I used to paddle in, and then I learnt to swim. I've got a stone off of here, just as a memory. I don't know if the reeds here are anything to do with the original ones, but we always used to have reeds here. And of course, the tree there is, I think, possibly original, because that was a lot smaller, but that could be 50 years old plus. And this was all open, so this is all overgrown now. And that over there, which is where my mum is put, used to be the way the farmer would get his cows in here. So occasionally we used to have cow pats. But he never used to use it because it wasn't big enough. It just goes under the road. I can't remember it, but the only
trees here, besides the ones on the waterfront, which are very, very slow growing, are that oak there and another oak over there, and also something that I've seen here which I've never seen before, 2 old squirrels. How about that? And also the poplar trees were there. Those ones there were the same, so they're definitely very old. Looking to the right of the cattle area, we go over here, and this was the area that we generally camped in because it was away from fireworks being thrown off the bridge and a little bit quieter. And there are still a few fires here, I notice. There's one there, so I wonder if anybody does come camping here now. I would think you'd get turfed off now. You might get away with it for a night or so. And down there used to be a little track, and I used to walk along the river down there. I've walked down the end and I've heard a couple of parakeets, so obviously we've got those there. And the path as such is still here, very, very, very overgrown. But if it would have been earlier in the year, I doubt if I'd even been able to walk along here because it would have been so overgrown. But all these little bays down here, for me as a child, were unbelievable areas of exploration. Some of the trees are still here, which is amazing to see because these trees grow very, very slowly. Very slowly indeed. I'll try and go down a little bit further. It's not very often you can live a bit of nostalgia, is it? Although it's changed dramatically since I was a child. But it's past its best now, this time of year. But what is a surprise sometimes to people is that along the Thames here, you get these lovely little bays. Look at this. So you'd have the boats going up and down, and you have a lovely little sandy beach here. And when the sun's just right, it's like being on your own tropical island. Look at that. Absolutely lovely. And still got that kind of appeal. Well, it has to me because it's got so many memories. So each bay you come across has got a wealth of memories for me, from one to another. And as I say, I learned not only to swim here, but also learnt to fish and have a bloody good time. Dad used to fish for eels, but I think that's about as far as I can go. But all this was a path, and you could go along right the way to the other bridge, which was superb. Ducks, swans, water voles, you name it, they were all there. And still are.